Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we've done so far. Tensions remain high in West Asia. Iran downplays Israel's retaliatory attacks. West calls for restraint. Spanish President Pedro Sanchez arrives in India today to hold delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Japan votes in a tight election. New Prime Minister Ishiba's majority at stake. Ruling Dream Party claims victory in Georgia general elections. Opposition alleges voter manipulation. Updates now on the US presidential elections. With less than 2 weeks until polls, Trump and Kamala Harris campaigned in Michigan, searching for holdout votes, with Harris focused on abortion rights and Trump returning to his anti-immigrant campaign theme. Ahead of the rally, Harris met with women medical providers in Michigan, where she said the country was in a healthcare crisis following the 2022 ruling by the US Supreme Court that ended women's right to abortion nationwide.
Since the Dobbs decision came down 2 years ago, I do believe that we as a country have faced a healthcare crisis. And yes, it includes the concern that we have about people's access to abortion care and then the punishing of women, the criminalization of healthcare providers. But also we've seen clinics close around the country that provide all types of care, from PAPs to breast cancer screenings, HIV testing, and so much else, and just safe places for people to go.
Former US President Donald Trump also campaigned in Michigan, attacking Kamala Harris over her approach to immigration and border security, while echoing several false claims. Trump also reiterated his commitment, if re-elected, to launching the largest deportation program in American history immediately upon taking the oath of office.
You're going to say, Kamala, you're no good, you did a lousy job, you destroyed San Francisco, you destroyed California, you destroyed everything you touched. You're not going to destroy our nation. Kamala Harris, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. I always said we're the dumping ground for the world. Yesterday I said we're the garbage can for the world. We're a garbage can. We're like a garbage can, and they dump their criminals, their people with tremendous mental problems from insane asylums.
And US President Joe Biden encouraged voters to follow their gut when casting their ballots in the upcoming election, which he describes as the most important election of our lifetime. Biden spoke at a Get Out the Vote event in Pittsburgh, where he arrived to support Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Rounding on former US President Donald Trump, Biden described the Republican nominee as a loser.
Do it for your kids. Do it for your family. Do it for your grandkids. Do it for your neighbors. Do it for people you know. People who need a helping hand. Donald Trump is a loser. A loser. He's a loser as a candidate. And more importantly, in my view, and I'm just going to say it straight up, he's a loser as a man. He's a loser as a man. We fought too hard for the gains we made, for the people we grew up with, the neighborhoods we come from. And I know who was standing next to me the last 4 years, Kamala Harris.
And US presidential race remains very tight, with Vice President Kamala Harris and presidential candidate of Republican Party Donald Trump wrapping up their efforts to secure votes in the 7 battleground states. DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh reports from Houston in Texas.
Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
Kamala Harris once again calling out Donald Trump for becoming increasingly deranged. Donald Trump has called her a threat to democracy.
She's a threat to democracy because she shouldn't even be the candidate.
The political narrative as sharply divided as the American society polarized.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only one issue, and it's to get rid of Donald Trump. I feel he is the most destructive force on this planet at this time. giving him the nuclear codes would be the biggest mistake U.S. ever made.
She's not answered a single question. In fact, she runs from every question she's ever asked. So she'd be terrible. How could she stand up against Putin if she can't even stand up against a reporter that's on her side?
The key issue to me is ensuring that Donald Trump not take office. I'm extremely concerned about his fascist tendencies, and I think we have to do everything we can as a nation to uphold democracy and defeat him.
While American society may seem divided right from the middle this time around, most American states have traditionally voted on predicted lines. The terms red state and blue state refer to U.S. states whose voters vote predominantly for one party, the Republican Party in the red states and the Democratic Party in blue states, in presidential and other statewide elections. By contrast, states where the vote fluctuates between Democratic and Republican candidates are known as swing states or purple states. In these elections, there are 7 states that are swing or battleground states, which includes the states of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. And understandably, both candidates are focusing their energies campaigning in these states, making a last-lap bid to woo the undecided voter. But is it cutting ice with them?
What are they going to do for the people when they get into office? All the claims that they make, I want to make sure that they come through with the claims. You know, Trump says he can do X, Y, Z, and doesn't do nothing.
Well, I'm not too sure about what I'm going to decide, but everything's too expensive.
Then there is the issue that is America ready for a woman president, and a colored one at that?
If there's any time that a woman's going to take over the White House and represent us worldwide, it's now.
While issues like cost of living, economy, jobs, women's rights, abortion, etc. do matter to people, but it's often seen that on the voting day, most Americans cast their vote based on partisan loyalties. And that is why you see the states that have been red or blue continue to remain so. In such a scenario, when the race is so tight, it is really the undecided voter, especially the purple states, which could swing either way, that could decide who will sit in the Oval Office for the next 4 years. With cameraman Sanjay Jaina, this is Amrit Pal Singh for DD India in Houston, Texas.